4:57. So I don't right. I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know at this point. Bum, bum, bum. I got to get my podcasting hat on, Chris. All right. Hey, would you bring me a water while you're over by the fridge, please, sir? All right. What are you doing? We got to make moves. Sonny Jim, thank you. We're a little taller than we once were. What do you think? Do you like the new height? No. I put it there to see if you'd like it. What do you think?
That's
don't hold
good.
it. No, don't. Come on, really? Just scooch. You have to make a thing like that.
Like David at the kitty table.
You do not. Okay, it's exactly 5:00. Hey, everybody, this is Matt, and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. My phone says it's 5. My computer says we've got a couple minutes, but I don't want to bleed into Dylan's time. So I think I've been doing that lately, and I apologize. So anyway, Chris, how in the world are you?
I'm good, Matt. I was sick for a few days. I missed the first 2 days of class this week, but I am better now.
So you, we're gonna deep dive into the surf. Did we already talk about surf thing? Yeah.
We talked about it for just a red hot minute last Wednesday when I was here.
Oh, did we do a live stream?
Yeah, we did a little live stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a super chat from Brian Duncan, who says, "Can't watch tonight, but I want to make sure we keep ad-free rolling. Blame it on me." Thank you so much, Brian. Hey, Brian's going to be in the shop tomorrow.
Yeah,
right? We're going to help out with the workshop a little bit.
The last day of the workshop.
Sean Emenheiser is here, among others. And Sean, I wanted you to know that we got your guitar in today. So
it's right over there.
We have not
top of the stairs.
That's right. We haven't unboxed it yet.
No, we haven't unboxed it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. We may have a special guest unbox it.
Ooh, okay, good idea. I didn't say who I meant. Ooh.
No, I know. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have a fellow competitor unbox your guitar.
Yeah, but he's a good guy.
He is a good guy. Otherwise, we wouldn't let him do it.
Brian Mills is here. Dan Andreadis is here.
Brian's a fellow competitor as well.
Oh, that's right.
Can't get Brian to unbox it.
Jay, I got your box today too, which is not a guitar but a tube and some of that iron, the stuff that makes maple look like.
Oh yeah,
that stuff.
Yeah. I forget what they call that.
Van Shank Guitars is here, and he sent us $2 worth of super chat and says Brian made me do it ad free. Joey Dano said, "Have house guest wife giving me evil eye," and Brian made me do it. Well, Doug, you gotta do what you gotta do, my friend. We'll be here. We'll be here.
I bit my lip this morning eating a donut.
Well,
lesson is either one, eat more donuts, get used to it, or two, don't eat donuts.
You just got to eat through it, dude.
Practice eating more donuts.
Ricochet Tin Man, hello. Wondering if you guys have any experience with setting up full floating for FRX. Having some trouble getting full floating to work right on my Modern copy. Is that the FRX, the Floyd Rose with the mouse at the top? I've never set one up.
I don't have. Yeah, sorry.
But I do know. I do feel your pain with any. Gosh, with any of those full floating. Yeah, I thought that's what you were talking about, man. I see you said yes. With any of those full floating things, it's a balancing act versus string tension versus spring tension, and whatever that the FRX has, it's got to have some way to balance out the string tension. Man, but you're in kind of you're a stranger in an unholy land, if you will.
Yeah, it's I always do best when I wedge something underneath it at the level that I want it, and over crank the springs in the back, tune it up, stretch the strings out, tune it up, stretch the strings, tune it up, stretch the strings. and then hold the guitar up and slowly loosen the screws until whatever's holding that thing pops loose. And then it should be about the right float, and then you can kind of adjust it from there a little bit more. But
I think that's a great recommendation. Now, I'm not 100% sure how that FRX thing works.
I'm not sure either, because it depends on body route and all that other stuff.
But if you can wedge something in there so that when it's floating, it's level, right?
Yeah, and it has too much spring tension, so it's pulling itself down. No matter how tight you tighten the springs, it's not starting to arch up.
Yeah,
keep it down, and then set it up and loosen them until the stuff. Yeah, until it's floating. Yeah, until the guitar goes out of tune. Basically, you loosen them until the guitar starts to go out of tune, and then you crank them back up just a tick. I'm glad we do all the floating stuff.
I'm glad we're talking about Floyd's, because I kind of want to remind me when we show this guitar that I want to talk about Floyd's.
Okay.
If you remember.
Okay.
So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We've got I'm about to say we have a workshop full of people today, but they all left already. And they're gonna swing in here tomorrow, and they're gonna be guns blazing, trying to get in tune by noon. They're really, really close. And all the telly, the 51 no-casters that these guys made look really cool. Some of them even look like 51 no-casters, which is let's talk about this for a second. There's no more 51 no-caster named workshops. We've since changed the name to Ultimate Telly Workshop.
Okay.
That way you can make whatever you want. You know what I mean? So like Federico was like, hey, what do we get to choose for like woods and stuff? And I was like, well, actually, sir, I already put the order in with Steve. So because we're all making 51 no-cast. Now, as it turns out, he made a super cool guitar.
Yeah, I think everybody's happy with what they got.
Yeah.
They might not be happy with the amount of work that went into cleaning up frets today, but.
Oh, yeah. Now, why is that?
Because we did maple fingerboards, and to do those, you end up having to paint over the frets and then clean off all the paint off the frets, which is not as easy as you might think. It takes a fair amount of work and some precision. If
you're not used to wearing one of those little magnifier loop things and getting in and scraping stuff, it can be a chore. And
difficult than,
and you can get kind of cross-eyed.
It took a while to do. So yeah. And everybody's turned out great, but as the steps get smaller, people start getting more and more nervous.
Yeah. Rick sent us $5 and said, for Chris and some remedial donut eating. Maybe he'll get it right next time.
Maybe, yeah.
Dude, you're remedial.
Yeah.
You might be out of practice with donuts.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just took a bite and went, oh man, I just bit myself. Like these aren't my own teeth or something. Yeah, they're new.
First day with the new mouth. Dan says lots of unfinished challengers behind you. Nice, Dan. That's true. So a couple of these are they're all 4 of these challengers are all ready for color and clear and assembly. They've all been sealed. You were. We were waiting on some paint stuff, and we're still waiting on a delivery from Hipshot. That comes to my house. So yeah,
yeah. So I went to California for 5 days.
Tell us all about
Friday till Tuesday. Last Tuesday, I went to California for a surf music weekender in Southern California, and stayed an extra day. And came home and promptly got sick.
Yeah.
And spent the last 6 days homesick, going crazy, especially starting Monday, knowing that class was going on and that I couldn't be here to participate.
You wanted
extra fun.
You wanted to come in.
I wanted to come in, and I was willing to come. And I did actually come in.
Oh, that's right.
Monday afternoon after everybody left, and did the paint thing that I needed to do. Put sealer on and all of that. But
so we all left.
You all left. I came,
and then you came in, and then I came. I don't know if you know this, but I came back later that night with like like a disinfecting wipes and a Lysol bomb and yeah.
Makes me feel good.
Well, we didn't want to get. I didn't do it because
I know
because you were you had cooties. I did it because we didn't want anybody to get sick. So yeah.
So
Pops says it's all in the tool to clean frets. File an appropriate size groove into a penny and go to town. Easy penny. Have you ever heard of that? Not a bad idea because it would kind of flare out and then I guess push like a scraper.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's an intriguing idea. I've not heard of that one. I heard that Fender had like a nail with a hook on it or something.
Oh, yeah.
Basically what he's describing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So I've only done 4 or 5 guitars that way, and I'm actually pretty good with the razor blade. So I never really thought about putting another tool together for it. But after watching guys today, I'm thinking, maybe come up with something that would work better than the razor blade.
Yeah, that's a good tip, Pops.
I wonder why Fender doesn't use it.
They may. That might be, for all I know, Pops works at the Fender Custom Shop, and that's what he's.
Maybe those got guitars.
I don't know.
The other stuff, they don't clean the lacquer off the frets.
Yeah,
they scrub the top.
And we've seen those too. But I would, I think like the Custom Shop, I'm sure it has some of that stuff. Yeah, and I don't know, but that sounds like a fine idea. And yeah, I don't know what maybe Pops has been doing this for a long time, and he's just really good at it. I don't know. Joy says that it might not be so easy peasy when you're doing it the first time, though. LOL. And
that's a thing.
Yeah. Get it.
Like I told the guys today, I said, you want to get good at making nuts, make 100 nuts. Yeah, that's how I did it.
We always say that every time by the time you're finished, you've kind of got the hang of it. And
you get with frets, you get at least 22 times to try. Sometimes you get 44 times. Or 42 times, depending on how many frets.
Pop says he's been doing it for 40 years. So the name Pops isn't just ironic, I don't think. So yeah. So thank you so much, Pops. Mike Beckloff, who was just here, is now here. Hi, Mike.
We were talking about you, Mike.
So, Chris, today's live stream is called. There's a couple things that we want to talk about. One is the difference between knowledge and proficiency. Very different things.
Okay.
A lot of people get them mixed up. But first, I want to talk about why we love Paul Reed Smith guitars. That's what it said. That's why we love Paul Reed Smith guitars.
Okay.
And I've got a couple of examples here. So today, Steve from Maximum Guitar Works brought over the some neck components for us to try. It's like, look, wow, it looks really long. Brought over some necks for us. So everybody who will be participating in the PRS workshop next month, we are moving steadily along towards having something really neat for you guys. And what do you think of these, Chris?
I think they look pretty cool.
Have you seen them since I fit the necks to these?
No, I saw when Steve was here. I saw the necks. I looked at them for a little bit, and I got back to task at hand.
So these are that's someone's blowing up both of our
Chris
phones.
Hill.
Oh, okay. So these are ready for sanding and pickup routing. One of the things that I'm going to have Steve do is I'm going to have him extend the fretboard a little bit. I know full well that it's going to terminate here, but I like to do that on the pin router when we route for pickups. Yeah. So I'm going to have him push this back a little bit.
Okay.
He's going to have a P90 and a humbucker template set for us. And we're going to be doing 3 instruments. This is the one, I don't know if you guys can tell, but this one has some pretty neat maple. I'm hoping you can see it in the screen. It looks like you can.
A little bit.
So if you remember from the Sunday's video, this is this is the body that we're going to be we're going to probably finish this one out and sell it, because sometimes paying for the prototypes is tricky. You know what I mean? There's a lot of work that goes into prototyping this stuff,
especially something like this, because this isn't something that we're going to.
No, we're not going to make
12 of these in class.
Yeah,
guys are going to make 12 of these in class.
Yeah, we are not going to make.
Yeah,
them.
we're not.
Yeah.
This is not a Texas Toast model.
No,
this is a class project.
Yeah, this is something that already exists.
So,
you can.
Yeah.
3J Music sent us $5 and says ads suck. Thanks for keeping it ad free, guys. Well, you're welcome, my friend.
Yeah. So we have to maximize our return on investment with a couple of these prototypes.
Loring says it looks nice, and he says it looks too good. And he also said that he wants to know if it's going to get donut inlays. I think this one's getting nothing. So this one's getting goose egg inlays, as in the big fat, which I think is going to be neat. I don't know. Somebody was like, hey, a Paul Reed Smith style guitar with no inlays would sure be cool. And that's kind of what a lot of this is going to be, Chris. So like if you want a Paul Reed Smith would be happy to make them for you, you know? And but if you want to kind of experience a little bit of what it's like to make one of these yourself and get to put your own personal touch on them, we are going to be offering no inlay dots and blocks, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think you can get block. I'm sure you can get blocks of some kind from PRS, but but maybe not. What else? This bridge is actually cut for a kind of a vintage Godot style bridge, which I think not the MANN bridge that Paul Reed Smith uses is certainly cool. But I think there's something neat about going with a straight up Strat. But you can't get it, I don't think. And Zed, it does look real nice in person, and you'll get to see it this weekend when you come in.
Is Zed in town?
I think Zed is coming into town. Yeah. So
if I knew that, I had forgotten, and I don't think I knew that. So that's very cool.
Loring says now I have to decide between a Les Paul class or PRS. Well, the PRS one is definitely going to be neat, and the Les Paul one is definitely neat.
They're all neat.
Yep.
It depends on what kind of what take them all.
Take them all. Rod sent us $10 and says for Jeep part storage and for keeping it ad free. Yeah, we got a box for you, Rod. Whenever you're ready. Yeah. So these are made using PRS blueprints or CAD files or something like that. We don't know where Steve got them, but he got them. I can tell you this much: Steve didn't painstakingly pour over an existing unit and then make it. Okay,
yeah,
he
rounded these up someplace.
He was able to
it to him, and he said, "Oh, I think I have that."
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah.
So
is it 100% accurate?
It's really close.
Is it? My PRS knowledge is very, very minimal.
Okay.
So
here's what I can tell you. 13-degree headstock angle, which, as you know, is something that, and look how thin the headstock is. That is like straight out of the PRS playbook.
Yeah.
That's nice and slim, which I am a fan of. I'm a super huge fan of having a thin headstock. Some guys like thick headstocks.
Eric Johnson as well, I think, is a thin headstock guy.
I used to be all about the thickest headstock I could get. And now I had a guitar that I slimmed the headstock down. It was a bass, and I could tell a difference. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But man, it sang. It was really cool. It was actually one where I modified the whole shape of the headstock, and I ground it down, and it was super, super thin. So now I'm a fan of thin headstocks. Chris Hendricks sent us a super chat and says, I think the Hipshot contour trim would be an excellent choice on the PRS style axe. Yes, Chris, that would absolutely be one.
I think they're very similar. I can't imagine that when Hipshot decided to make that bridge, they didn't go.
They did.
That man bridge is pretty neat. Let's cop some of that.
the thing about the man bridge is it's a 6-hole trim.
Mhm.
They might make a floating 2.12, but the Hipshot one is a 2-point trim. So if you like the little, what would you call it? Little wall around the saddles.
Mhm.
The Hipshot one with the 2-point trim is kind of that's the best bet.
Mhm.
That's positively the best bet.
Yeah, I like that trim a lot.
So you can also, like Dan Andreas wants to do a wraparound bridge.
Mhm.
So this guitar is fit. This neck pocket is actually fit for like one of the Godo,
like straight up strap bridge.
Straight up strap bridge.
For string height here.
Because
it changes depending on the bridge.
Yeah.
It's one of your rules. It's know what bridge you're using before you start your project.
That's one of my rules. So then
the second rule is to bail rules.
The second one is to bail on all the rules and don't even use the same neck that you're going to use. The second one is this guy, which you guys might recall from Sunday. And it's essentially the same thing as the one we were just showing you, but it is actually routed for a man bridge. Everything else is the same. Well, it's kind of like a multi-piece thing, and it's Steve didn't go out and use like, really swanky wood.
No, this looks like a bunch of bits and pieces.
Yeah, you can tell the back is like all
Well, for bits and pieces, it's pretty neat looking.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys a quick look
it's
so you can see it's got like swanky
the top
stuff.
Is definitely a bunch of over maple.
So
from next,
this was going to be Steve was going to trash this body, and I said, let me practice on it.
Yeah.
Well, then somebody said, hey, could I get a fabric top one? And I'm like, I should probably practice doing a fabric top on this one. And then I thought we could get a man bridge for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was wondering, what would a Floyd fit in here? I mean, we could make it fit.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I know we could make it fit. And there was a time, Chris, I know that I'm the bigger PRS nerd than you are. And I'm also the bigger Ed Roman nerd than you are. But there was a time when you couldn't get a Paul Reed Smith guitar with a trem, with a Floyd. Now you can. I forget whose signature model it is. And maybe it's just a regular one. But I thought, wouldn't a Floyd be like a funny thing to retrofit into this one? I'm not 100% sure it would work, but it would be fun to do. Then I thought, well, what if we did one humbucker Floyd Rose Eddie Van Halen stripedy paint job like that one that you've seen on? Have you seen that one?
I think I have, yeah.
So I think so. There was one or two or half a dozen Paul Reed Smith guitars that were prototype Eddie Van Halen signature models.
Okay.
I think they were just all red though. Okay. And they had one.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, they were fairly plain looking. Probably because they knew that whatever they gave him, he would put his signature red, black, and white stripes on. But then somebody made a Paul Reed Smith with his stripes on it. Maybe it was, I don't know if it was Eddie Van Halen or just someone kind of like imagining what that would look like. And I thought that would be a funny thing to do an Eddie Van Halen, Floyd Rose, Schwinn bike paint.
I don't have any more Schwinn bike paint.
Well, we could get close.
We could get some. So
what do you guys think of that? So this could either be leopard or I know these are great choices.
That's right? It. Those are the options. Yeah.
There's two options. Well,
fabric? Leopard fabric or nothing.
It's going to have to be painted because I mean, I guess it wouldn't have to be, but then it would be this kind of,
if you like cutting boards.
Yeah. And there's some other little things that, like would need to be sussed out, but it would all that stuff would go away with paint and or fabric. So what say you, Chris, based on, have you seen that one where somebody kind of like a visionary cloner put together something that they thought would be what it would look like?
Yeah.
What do you? Okay,
I don't know. I mean, fabric tops are always fun. We've never done a Van Halen kind of a thing.
We actually never have we?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's see what the
we've done like Union Jack stripes.
We have done that
once, but never a Van Halen kind of a stripe thing.
Lefty says it might look really cool. Chris says he seconds that. Sheldon says EVH. Zed says EVH.
Do a generally Confederate flag and irritate everybody.
I think we would make a lot of friends with that.
I think we would too.
Loring says there was an April Fool with that setup. If you Google, is that what that was? Was it like a rendering, or did somebody actually make that? Then he says something about 27-inch scale tuned to C. I'm not doing that. Dan says, okay, do the EVH then. More votes for EVH. Brian Mills says something that is upsetting to me. No leopard print. And then he says the boss lady would kill him. Meaning, I think that if we did a leopard print PRS,
you would have to have it.
Brian Mills would just be like, oh, yeah. It's so lovely.
Yeah. You wouldn't even have to, we'd just start it and he'd say mine. Yeah. That's happened.
We're not doing it. Well, it's already got the headstock. It's got, actually, this is not the neck that we're going to use for this one. It's getting a maple neck. But we're not doing a banana headstock for this.
Good Lord.
Great Planet says sparkle white with a Filtertron.
No Filtertrons.
I wonder if Filtertrons have ever been, like, has anybody done I'm sure somebody has done a, you know, one of the neat things about this workshop is you can get some stuff that you can't normally get.
Yeah.
And to say, oh, I know, Filtertron, and well, you could do a Bigsby because it's a carve, but Filtertron, Paul Reed Smith, you can't get that from the factory. As far as I know, that's the one I want. So that would be funny. You know, sometimes doing things because they're fun is fun.
Mm-hmm. And
sometimes cool things are cool because they're cool. And sometimes it's just different for the sake of being different. And as you start to alter, start to alter some of the basic things that are happening, you change more stuff than you think you're going to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that kind of segues nicely into our next point, the knowledge versus proficiency.
Okay.
So Chris, Richard Ryan, okay, hold on. I want to take this. Let's come back to that. Loring says half-cocked humbucker. PRS made a Dynastonic pickup in the Vela. And Richard Ryan says PRS actually did offer a Filtertron guitar at one time. I wonder if it's that Vela thing or so. I don't know. Richard would know if there was a Filtertron equipped PRS.
Okay.
But as you start to alter some of those things, stuff changes, and it doesn't necessarily make it easier. It just makes it different and difficult. And that's the kind of hard won wisdom that you get by doing this for a little while. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good answer, Chris.
Good answer.
Yeah, way to go. Thanks.
No, but I mean, this is, like I said, this is the difference between knowledge and proficiency. So if you have the knowing of, like, oh, I've watched every Paul Reed Smith video that there is, and I know exactly how they make their guitars. And then you say, I'm going to start my own factory in Denver, Colorado. And I'm going to do it exactly like they do at Paul Reed Smith.
CNC machine.
Yeah. I got my own CNC rig. And I'm going to start it. I'm going to fire it up.
Yeah. How hard can it be?
Yeah. It's not always knowing is half the battle, right? Like Kevin Costner said in The Untouchables, lots of things are half the battle. Losing is half the battle. Yeah, so let's deep dive into that, Chris, and I'm going to give you a moment to collect your thoughts while I take some chats from the live section here. Dan Andrada says, "Can you be proficiently knowledgeable?" Because he's trying to be clever. Yeah, Dan, just start doing push-ups until we tell you to stop.
Yeah. Well, I think you can have a lot of knowledge, but no actual real world experience, right? Is that where proficiency comes in?
I think so.
And I think knowledge is almost like book learning, and proficiency is actual time with the tools or time in the saddle.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Would you agree that all too often in 2024, knowledge comes in the form of internet degrees?
Oh, absolutely.
And,
yeah. I mean, I am a certified YouTube mechanic. I can fix any car anytime based on the several videos that I've watched. On how to do it. But until it comes time to actual turning the wrench.
I actually think that's a great way to put that, because just because someone knows how to I don't know, rebuild a carburetor based on YouTube videos.
Just pull the heads off and
it's very different for you to take your car to them and say, well, how long is it gonna take for you to pick up that crescent wrench in solo here a little bit? Let's see what you got. So,
well, the last big project I did on a car, the video that I watched was 17 minutes long, and it took me 8.5 hours. And I watched, 30 seconds of the video.
Yeah, sure.
And then
did you ever watch it all the way through?
I watched it all the way through the first time.
Okay.
And I thought, well, all the steps are here. I just need to, and I actually had the computer in the garage.
Okay.
And did it that way. And then on the way back, I just would watch, the minute before. And then the minute before that. And reverse, tearing it apart. And,
tearing it apart.
I mean, it was a 17-minute video. I can't believe it took me more time than 17
minutes.
Right?
To
do that entire car. But anyway.
5 minutes of that should have been cleaning your tools off.
Oh, yeah. 9 hours then.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
but I think a lot of people do. They go on to forums and they go on to, they go to YouTube, and all of a sudden they're experts, but they've never actually done anything.
Yeah.
Not you guys, but there are some people who do that. One of the neatest things that you and I do, Chris, is we invite a half a dozen people at a time into the shop, and they build guitars and they get a taste of what it's like to do it. Some guys have done it in the past. Some guys have never done it before. Some guys, this is their 5th or 6th or 18th time coming out here. In fact, some guys come out here and they go to other schools and they learn and they get real good, and they go back to their home shops and they make a bunch of guitars and they build guitars for the Great American Guitar Building Contest.
I wondered when we were going to get to this.
I
almost forgot about it. Me too.
Almost spaced it out.
Yep.
And they build guitars for the Great American Guitar Building Contest, and we're going to get to see them this week.
And we're going to do a live stream.
That's right.
And it's going to work.
It's totally going to work.
And you know why? Because we have the knowledge.
We do. Let's put a pin in that, because I want to come back to that. So, because we got a bunch of neat stuff to talk about with the Great American Guitar Building Contest. But do you have anything else that you think is applicable to knowledge versus proficiency that we haven't really touched on, that maybe we could vamp on for like 10 minutes?
Well, I think I think proficiency takes just hands-on time. The knowledge I think is easy. The proficiency takes time.
Yeah. Seal Beach Mike says proficiency comes with lots of reps.
Yes. I think so.
Devin says, I know lots of stuff. Just don't believe me, just ask me.
Yeah, I know lots of stuff too, but I don't know how to do a lot of stuff.
Dog Trim says, kind of like me with guitar building, I know what I'm doing most of the time, but I'm not yet proficient at building. Maybe I should take a workshop on that. Maybe you should come out and take a workshop. Sometimes you get just far enough, and then maybe you get a little bit confused, or you get something doesn't happen the way you think it's gonna, and then maybe that's what the real proficiency is. You have all the knowledge in the world, but proficiency is knowing what to expect when doing, and knowing how to compensate so that it doesn't go sideways. Maybe. Loring says you should take a class, Dog Trim. That would be super cool. Mike Beckloff says that this week in the shop has been awesome. Yeah, Mike came out with his son Chris and his son John, and it's been great having them out here. We actually have two family groups here. We have Mike and John and Chris, and we have David and Charles, and we have and their brothers, and then we have Federico, and he's not anyone's blood relative here, but everybody here is super cool, and it's really fun to meet really and hang out with everybody.
Yeah, and it could get it could have devolved into a very cliquish class where the three Beckloffs hang solely, David and Charles hang solely, and Federico is on his own, and that hasn't happened. Everybody gets along, everybody's having a good time, everybody's sharing stories, and as soon as you see phones come out, they're like, hey, check this out,
check out my motorbike,
whatever it is. I'm going to show you this once, and it's some guy singing or whatever it is. You know that things are going well. So everybody's having a really good time, and it's fairly chill. And
Dan wants to know if he can stop doing push-ups.
Now, a couple more. Give me 10 more and count them out.
Good ones, Dan.
I want to hear it.
Good ones. Guitar Doc 71. I'm going to stop there. Says
do a lot of push-ups.
A little knowledge can be really dangerous. A little experience, however, can make the difference between a finished product and a pile of kindling. Well, ain't that the truth? Yeah.
Well, I think too, thinking you know a lot versus knowing you know a lot, or being able to prove you know a lot. The knowing, there's until you actually prove it, you don't really know anything.
And you guys know that there's a lot of people on the internet who like to say they like to talk about.
They just parrot what somebody else has said. But if they actually had to do it, then they might be in trouble. So
what I can tell you is one of the reasons that I love Paul Reed Smith guitars is because Paul Reed Smith has probably forgotten more about building guitars in the last 10 minutes than I will ever know. And one of the things that okay, all right, Paul Reed Smith knows a lot about.
He knows
guitar,
a lot about building guitars. Yeah, he's a very, very smart man.
And when he goes on the internet, people listen to him, and they should. The problem is they shouldn't repeat him because they don't know. He knows, but they don't know. Well, they're just like you said. They're just
there's probably reasons. Well, a lot of his knowledge was probably gained by proficiency. Well, and things that he thought he knew, he might have changed his mind on.
Do you know that?
I'm sure they don't do everything exactly the same way he did things the very first time.
You could just look at the control layout, or the heel, or the tuners, or the tuner buttons,
whatever it is. So,
and he back in the day, back in the 70s in Annapolis, he was like, if you had something that was really a tricky repair that nobody else wanted to do, he would do it. That's what I've heard. I don't know because I never took any guitars from Annapolis, but it's a fun story.
You were 10.
Yeah. I was 5.
Yeah. At the oldest.
Yeah, in 1975. So anyway, Let's see. Jay says, I think proficiency comes in when things go wrong, knowing how to correct something when all hell breaks loose. Boy, you got that right.
Yeah,
man.
that's a thing. And yeah, in a lot of ways, stuff is just a series of not repairs, but knowing what to do next if something goes slightly wrong.
Dogtrim says, looking for a workshop for my 70th birthday present. Now you're talking. But you would not be even close to the oldest guy we've had here at 70.
No.
I think you'd be beat by more than a decade by
Paul
by
Danner's 82.
Yep. Wes Dunn sent us a super chat, and just to send us a super chat. Thank you, Wes. Let's see. Joy says workshops really do have a family feel. This week is great. I love both of these returning fams, and Federico is a great addition to the group. You know, and that's absolutely true, man. I tell you what, Chris, I have been inspired by these guys every day. You know, they come in and they're really excited, and it makes me excited too. We had a great week, and I'm sorry that you
feel bad.
Oh, I mean, we didn't have a very good week until you got here.
Monday and Tuesday were kind of there's something missing. I don't know what it was.
We had a great time, and we slugged through stuff like frets and sanding and this, that, and the other, and the guys did great, and it was just a really neat, cool thing, and the vibe was really excellent, and you I'm sure you see that now too.
Yep.
Dan Andrada says, ad free and beer. I'm assuming he was doing push-ups while he was typing, but yeah. Dogrim says, I really like the idea of a PRS, or really would love to do a Mose right. If you are thinking that you want to do a workshop sooner rather than later, I would say the PRS one. As of right now, we have absolutely no plans to do a Mose right.
No.
Gearing up to do a Mose right, a carved top Mose right, it's not impossible, but it would cost a lot of money, and to just gear up to do it. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Steve splits the cost of this tooling up, ramping up with us, because he'll use some of this stuff later on too. What he'll do with it, I don't know, but he'll do something with it. Mose right for Steve would be something that would be so far off his radar. I don't think he would want to do that. No, I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah,
and I don't think there's any existing plans for something like that.
Yeah, no,
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
Oh, durable glass. Okay. All right. So Proficiency. Have we covered why we love Paul Reed Smith?
I think so.
Have we covered proficiency versus knowledge?
I think so.
Have we beat that one to death?
Yeah.
All right. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty of talking about the Great American Guitar Building Contest. Sorry, not build off. The Great American Guitar Building Contest, and it's going to be this Saturday, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Are you going to be here for that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not coming in, so you have a good time. No, I'm going to be here. Joy's going to be here.
I have to be ambassador of fun all by myself.
You are the Duke of Cool, the Earl of Funk, and the Ambassador of Fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And the Ayatollah of rock and roll. Okay, so anyway, the Great American Guitar Building Contest this Saturday, August 10th, at the shop. We've got a panel of celebrity judges.
Doors at noon.
Okay. Panel of celebrity judges that do not include Chris or myself.
Nope. Conflict of interest, plus too busy being ambassador of fun.
Yeah. We've done this. This is our third year for the contest, and we've never once judged this contest.
Never judged, never swayed, never anything. Yeah.
Which part of me says that that's a really neat thing. Like, not to, if you're going to put on your own contest, and did we even enter anything the first year? I don't think we did.
No, we didn't.
You and I ended up having a contest between ourselves last year that people just voted. Like there wasn't part of the thing.
Oh yeah, well, I guess we did vote on it, didn't we? Yeah, there was a pro category and there was talk of other people competing,
and nobody did.
But why would you? Because there was no money in the pro. Much like real life.
Much like
real money in the pro guitar building arena. Yeah, so really we just built. I think you and I just built some guitars because we wanted to build some guitars, and and then took them and showed them off.
Yeah,
and the money was all the guitars that people brought from all over the place.
So let's
26 entrants.
Let's talk about how this works.
Okay.
So you show up on Saturday at noon with the guitar that you built and $100, and you are entered into the Great American Guitar Building Contest.
Yes.
The guitars are judged by our panel of celebrity judges, and not including Chris and myself. Celebrity judges.
Okay.
And when we tally up the points, and the categories include, it's like 1 to 10. How did the guitar play? How did the guitar look? How was the fit and finish? How were the frets? How were the how marketable is this? That was one of the categories, right? Like you had to, like, is this something that you could do over and over and over? Is this a
one-off, or is this
is this an art project or a guitar that you could go buy? Yeah. Stuff like that. And then there's one X factor.
Like, does this guitar have it?
Yeah.
Is this a guitar you can't put down for some unknown reason?
And so you
just like it.
There's like 1 through 10 for all these different categories. And the judges put down whatever the number they think goes with that guitar. And then the scores are added up, again, not by Chris or myself. And whoever has the most points wins all of the entrance fee money. So Chris and I make $0 doing this.
In fact, it costs us.
It costs us a day.
A day off.
Yeah.
Have to hang out with friends.
Yeah, we get to hang out. And be ambassadors of fun.
Ambassador of fun. That's right.
Okay, so Dr. says, I understand that a Mosrite is sort of a red herring. I love Mosrites, but Chris, do you love them too?
Yeah, they're really neat guitars. But to do it in a class would be difficult.
Yeah.
We're not really geared up for any of that stuff. And 5 days seems like a long time until you're here, and then 5 days flies by and you're like, what am I going to do now? So we'd have to put a lot of work into that. And that would be cool, but I don't have any plans to do it. If there was a bunch of people interested in it, then we'd do it. Lefty says Gunny Highway is cringing. Actually, I think Stitch Jones is cringing, sir. John says, thanks for the show and the guitars. Thank you, John. That's very kind of you, sir. Dan says 5 days goes by really, really fast. It does, yeah. So, okay. So anyway, what else are we going to, one of the things that we're going to have, like you said, Chris, is we're going to be doing a live stream. How are we going to do that during the Great American Guitar Building Contest? I think what we ought to do, that ought to be fairly early on. In the day, maybe. You want to just set this up at noon and just push play, and we'll just sit here and invite people to bring their guitars up? Something like that. Yeah, maybe not noon, but maybe 12:30 or something like that. Like, let everybody get it filter going in, and then we'll show off everybody's guitars, and then maybe we could do one at the end of the day with the winner or something like that. Just do a quickie. Okay. Now here's what you may not know is, after we're done with this, with the Great American Guitar Building Contest, we're going to go over to Odyssey Beer Works, the Great American Beer Works. Yeah. Do you know who the food vendor is for that? No. That could be good. Yeah. I think people would like to see the guitars, and I think they'd like to see who the winner is. Yeah. Okay. We could maybe even do a live reveal of the winner. Okay. And how excited everybody is. Do you need to be present to win? No. How does that work? Several people have sent their guitars in presumably there's $100 in there somewhere.
So did they just send like a picture of their guitar?
No, the guitar has to be here.
Okay, that's what I want to talk about.
In the guitar.
Why is that?
Well, because this is a contest that we are judging not only how the guitar looks, but how it plays. And also the one true and holy rule of this guitar is that it needs to weigh 100 ounces.
That's right.
Give or take an ounce. So 99 to 101 ounces is what the guitar has to weigh to win.
Yeah.
Now, you can enter another guitar. You will not win.
You won't win.
You're donating $100. I hope bunches of people do that.
I hope they do too.
Because that means more money for the winner. Your guitar won't win.
Yeah. So when we started this, I think the very first time I was talking about this, I said that the guitars have to weigh 6.25 pounds. I had no idea that actually was 100
ounces. Somebody else, probably from Canada though.
Yeah.
Figured out.
And I think that's cool. So because 100-ounce guitar it just sounds better than the 6.25 pound.
Yeah.
It can't weigh less than that. It can't weigh more than that. It's gotta weigh that. And there have been guys who have sent me pictures of their guitar on the scale weighing in at like, man, they're right on, and they worked really hard to get it right.
99.4 is the last one that I saw.
Me too. Yeah. You can be plus or minus an ounce. 100 ounces.
Yep. 99.4 puts you right in that. I mean, yeah, it's not gonna dry out so much that it weighs 98.9.
Yeah. Oh, here's the other thing.
Extra heavy pick on there.
Like,
oh, that's part of the guitar.
If your guitar weighs exactly 100 ounces, you don't get more points than the guys who have it. Don't think that.
We need to come up with a tiebreaker though.
Okay. Well, let's see. Joy says, just FYI, Matt, August 10th food truck is the 512 truck, Texas home style cuisine, chili mac and cheese, pulled pork at Odyssey. Ooh, that sounds good. Thank you, Joy. Sean says that he learned paint weighs a lot. Now, Sean's been painting for a long time.
I'd like to know how much paint does weigh.
Sean, let us know how much paint weighs.
Yeah, what did it weigh before paint? Did you put it all together before paint? And then, just the paint. I want to know how much the paint weighed.
Yeah.
Because a lot. What's a lot?
What's a lot? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay says that he wishes he could attend this weekend. Y'all have fun. We absolutely will, Jay. We're gonna have a good time. Well, maybe you should send this is what the guys did to meet this. They were like, I painted the body, and now everything weighs 99.8 ounces. I can't paint the neck.
Okay.
So I'm going to put an oil finish on the neck, or you could put that stuff that Jay sent us on the neck. And he told me what it was, and I read it. And then Joy said they always forget, and I do iron something.
Nitrate.
Yeah, maybe that's
nitrate.
Yeah, I don't know. Thank you very much, Jay. I appreciate that. So yeah, but the guys worked really hard to get it exactly right. Now I got a bunch of flack from people about don't add a silly rule. And I'm thinking, what do you think, Chris? Like, okay, if we decide to do this again next year, the first year was just do whatever you want. The second year was you had to spend no more than $400
on materials.
And
there were lots of cheaters.
Yeah. And then this year it was.
You could tell who the cheaters were.
Yeah. And then this year it was the guitar had to weigh 100 ounces. And people bellyached about that and said, don't do the 100-ounce thing. Just build a guitar.
Build the best guitar, best damn telly you can.
And I'm thinking that's not a bad idea. And I'm also thinking the people who say that aren't going to enter anyway. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I think, well, yeah. The 100-ounce challenge was way harder than the $400 challenge.
How do you figure? Because of the way the guys approached it?
Yeah, I think so. It's just a completely different set of rules. And I think you have to think more on your feet on the 100-ounce thing than the $400 thing. Because the $400 thing, you just list out every single part
Yeah.
it takes to build a guitar, and you just start doing math.
Yeah.
Fairly straightforward. This one, you have to actually have some idea of the finished product. You have to gather some parts. You have to see what it's gonna take. You have to figure out, okay, well, with all the parts, you can't really change the weight of the parts that much. So then you have to start modifying bodies and wood and all this other stuff. And wood, you get a chunk of wood, like we'll get body blanks and they'll weigh 8-9 pounds.
And
but
sometimes they'll weigh 3 pounds.
Yeah. That's not what it's going to weigh when it's done. But
that's
you're also like, well, okay, so I'm going to hack half of this away. I don't know, 3/4 of it away. What's the body going to weigh? How am I going to swing this? So,
I can tell who my people are. Eric says, make a silly rule. It's more fun that way. Zed says, I like the challenges that you've come up with. Keep it up. And Dan says, man, it wouldn't be a TTG contest unless you put the yearly flair on it. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. So next year, all the guitars have to be brown. We're going to boil it down to best playing guitar. Yeah, all brown guitars.
Brown.
What if it's blue? Nope.
Yeah. Well,
nope. What if it's gray? No.
It's a shade of brown. Yeah,
brown.
Now that would
I'll give you a spectrum from here to here on the brown scale.
That would be a funny rule. This is the paint code you have to use. And this is the neck has to be maple, and it has to be that stuff that Jay likes on the iron nitride stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
And
just a bunch of
just silly. The 15th fret has to be a different color than all the other ones. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, but yeah.
No.
Well, okay, so I'm glad that you guys said that, because having a something to shoot for is it's a fun thing. Yeah. So and one of the things that I wanted to do with all these contests, Chris, were challenge people to think outside the box, I guess, but in a way that they don't normally think about stuff.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that if you can think about something and know that your cost is going to be $400 or less, or think about something and know that when you're done with it, it's going to weigh a specific amount. That's a cool thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
Like if you can do that stuff, imagine like those are ridiculous rules. Imagine but imagine if you can compete in that arena, imagine all the other neat stuff you could do.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that I like about all this stuff is, you have to think about the rules, but you also have to make a guitar that's going to be appealing not only to yourself, but to everybody else that's playing it. You can't just build a guitar because you think it's cool, but nobody else is going to think it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Barbie doll heads on it.
Dan says, don't let Chris pick the rule. Sorry.
Yeah. All green guitars. Now, how do you feel about that, Dan? All green guitars, only green.
Chris says, perhaps build anything you want out of poplar. Loring says 100-ounce, $400 brown guitar battle.
There you go. Yeah. Just combine them all. Yeah. You can build one or none of these items.
Bass boat flake finishes only. Brown flake. Brown sounds like you had Taco Bell the night before. Just follow the rule or the rule for the contest and break all the other rules. Says
all the
Doug.
guitars have to shoot fire.
Yeah, freaking lasers.
Yeah, and the tiebreaker is longest flame.
Jay says ugly guitar challenge.
Ugly is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah,
I think that brown thing would be pretty close. It's the ugliest guitar you could build. Yeah.
Well, there's been some people saying that like root beer.
Challenge.
Yeah,
all brown guitars,
all see-through finishes. Yeah, all clear, no colors at all.
Yeah, what
Sean,
about no paint?
I don't know
we can take Sean Ebenheiser out of this thing.
Sean Ebenheiser would be
no
mad.
Paint guitar challenge.
Sean's guitar. I haven't seen Sean's guitar, but I know what Sean can do.
Won the first year.
That's right.
His guitar paint was insane. I walked in, I saw that guitar from across the room. It was up next to a couple of other very, very nice guitars, but his guitar was
a looker.
An inch of its life.
It was a looker.
He's gonna probably win, and he did. So yeah. So looking forward to seeing what he has in the box.
Yep.
What's in the box?
What's in the box, Sean? Okay. Well, Chris, we're just about running out of time. People are saying stuff like turd casters and poo bursts and telling Dan to do more push-up. Poor Dan. Dan, you're going to be buff by the time you get here in September.
You're going
to be yoked. Yeah. Well, gang, I can't wait to show you tomorrow what the guys in the workshop have come up with.
I think we have 2 guys that are going to leave a little early, unfortunately, so we'll only have 4
to
show off tomorrow.
Or you know what I would like to do? I would like to have a early reveal tomorrow. How about that?
If we can pull it off, let's
okay.
So we can do a reveal, and then the guys that can spend a little more time can spend a little more time.
We could do a reveal, and then like, because you're not revealing like the setup.
No, exactly. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. Here's your guitar. Strum it. Nope.
Yeah. So So will there be a reveal tomorrow? And I can't wait to show you guys what everyone has come up with, because some of this stuff I have never seen in a workshop before, ever. It is a lot of cool stuff.
Yep.
Sean says that paint added about 850 grams.
850 grams.
Yeah. Okay. Chris says, thanks, Matt. And Chris, thanks, TTG fam.
Almost 2 pounds.
Is it really? Come on. Not including sealer. Holy Toledo. All right. Well, Van Shank guitars.
Real metal in the metal flake?
Real metal.
Real metal shavings.
Yeah.
Glass.
Yeah, we don't know what kind of paint Sean used. Yeah. So anyway, gang, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you tomorrow for a very cool reveal, and we'll see you on Saturday for a very cool edition of the Great American Guitar Building Contest. I still don't know how many people are going to be here, but it's going to be fun, even if it's just going to be a few. But I think there's going to be a lot.
I hope.
Yeah, and we're going to have a good time. So. I urge you guys to go check out Dylan and his lovely wife, Leslie, over at Dylan Talks Tone. And they're going to be hanging out with you guys for the next 2 hours, talking about pretty much anything you want. And so we're losing air from somewhere. And we'll see you tomorrow, maybe early. So I'll try to keep you guys posted.
Yep.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Sheldon. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Lefty. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Loring. Thanks, Sean. I'm just going up through the list here. We're running late, guys. We will talk to you tomorrow, and have a great night, everybody.